Today we are running a full forensic audit on the brain of the Tic Tac UFO. We're going to cross-reference the famous 2004 Nimitz encounter with the public patent record to figure out what does it really take for a machine to think the impossible.
So it all boils down to this one question. How does a machine not just outfly, but completely outthink one of the most advanced militaries on Earth? To get to the bottom of that, well, we have to rewind the clock to a very specific day back in 2004.
Everything kicks off right here. November 14, 2004. U.S. Navy Commander David Fravor gets into a close encounter with this bizarre 40-foot wingless craft. But what happens next, that's the real kicker. The Tic Tac just vanishes, and a few seconds later, it reappears 60 miles away at a top-secret military coordinate. Now, that one little maneuver presents two massive computational problems that, frankly, should not be possible to solve.
Okay, let's break this down. Why exactly does this one move just completely shatter the known limits of our technology?
Okay, problem number one was a straight-up hack. You see, the Combat Air Patrol Point, or CAP point, wasn't just some random spot in the sky. It was a randomly generated, highly classified GPS coordinate. The only people who knew it were Commander Fravor and the Navy's multi-billion-dollar super-encrypted Aegis combat system. The Tic Tac didn't just guess where to go.
And here's the absolutely crucial part. The analysis we're digging into argues that a normal supercomputer would need literally millions of years to brute force that kind of military encryption. But the Tic Tac? It intercepted the signal and cracked it in less than a second. This wasn't just it showing up somewhere. It was a digital flex. It was sending a message that the Navy's most secure digital vaults might as well be made of glass.
Problem number two is, believe it or not, even harder. This thing is moving at hypersonic speeds, right? But its own propulsion system wraps it in a bubble of plasma. That plasma blocks everything. Radar, sonar, GPS, you name it. So it's flying at over a mile per second, completely blind and deaf, through an environment that's always changing.
A conventional computer is it's way too slow. According to the analysis, if a standard silicon processor takes even 50 milliseconds to see and process an obstacle, say an underwater mountain, the craft has already traveled hundreds of feet and smashed itself into a million pieces. In this game, Silicone equals death. So, how is any of this even possible?
Well, the analysis concludes that the answer isn't a faster classical computer. No, it's a completely different kind of processing, one that doesn't play by our rules at all. It points to a quantum brain.
And get this isn't just some sci-fi theory. The analysis points to specific real-world patents as a potential blueprint for this tech. One patent actually outlines a room-temperature quantum computer, made of microscopic diamonds, no less, small enough to fit inside a drone. Another points to the work being done by D-Wave systems in a process they call quantum annealing.
Now this perfectly illustrates the core difference in how they think. A classical computer bit, what we use every day, is like a coin lying flat on a table. It's either heads or tails, a 1 or a 0. It checks one possibility at a time very methodically. But a quantum bit, or a qubit, is like a coin spinning in the air. It's a blur of heads and tails at the exact same time. It explores every single possibility, all at once.
This state is called superposition, and this is supposedly how the Tic Tac solves that impossible hacking problem. It doesn't sit there guessing the Navy's password one letter at a time. No, it tries every single possible combination across millions of parallel dimensions at the exact same moment, and then it just collapses onto the one correct answer instantly.
So, okay, superposition cracks the code. That's wild enough. But how does this quantum brain solve that even harder problem, navigating blind at hypersonic speeds without becoming a fireball?
The proposed answer is a process called quantum annealing, and this is where it gets really weird. Instead of crunching numbers one by one, the computer visualizes the entire problem as a physical map, a 3D landscape filled with mountains and valleys.
So on this landscape, every possible flight path has a value. You see those huge, high mountain peaks? Those represent the worst-case scenarios, a catastrophic, fiery crash. But the deepest, lowest valley in the entire landscape? That represents the one, single, absolute best path forward. Perfect, efficient, survival. The goal is simple. Find that one perfect valley, instantly.
And this is where the real magic trick happens. A classical computer is like a blind mouse dropped onto this map. It wanders around, gets stuck in shallow valleys, and it's just way too slow to climb every single mountain to find the best route. But the quantum computer? It's like a flood. It fills the entire landscape all at once.
And through a mind-bending process called quantum tunneling, it doesn't have to climb the mountains. It can pass straight through the mathematical barrier, completely ignoring all the timelines that end in a crash.
So here's how the process supposedly works. First, the computer creates millions of ghost Tic Tacs in superposition, each one flying a different potential route in its own parallel dimension. Then, using quantum tunneling, it instantly filters out and discards all the simulations that end in disaster. Finally, the system anneals. It cools down, and reality itself collapses onto the one single timeline where the craft made it through perfectly unharmed.
So let's put all of this together. What kind of machine does this actually create? We're not just talking about a fast drone anymore. This is something else entirely. It is never surprised. It's never in danger. It doesn't need to react to a sudden mountain in its path because
It has already processed every single possible future, every potential outcome of any situation before that situation even begins, and therefore,
it simply chooses to exist in the timeline where it always succeeds. Think about that. It doesn't dodge the bullet. It collapses reality into a state where the bullet was never even going to hit it in the first place.
and this leaves us with a final and frankly deeply unsettling question posed by the father of quantum computing himself, David Deutsch. If a quantum computer is performing more calculations than there are atoms in our entire known universe to store that information, where is that computation actually happening? The answer this analysis provides is the central claim of this entire audit. The math isn't being done in our universe. It's being done in parallel dimensions.